Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, it's been a little while, but I'm gonna get to a late review of the Joanna Jedrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili. And I want to start off by saying that this was an absolutely fantastic fight, and I'll tell you how you know that. So this decision was extremely close. It really could have gone either way, I think. So it was extremely close, and normally in that situation, MMA fans, and they're not the greatest community in the world. A lot of people have had their say about the MMA community, and people would be up in arms. Some people, normally in a close decision situation like this, people would be saying, oh no, this person won, oh no, this Joanna won because of this, Zhang won because of that. But people are giving quite honest opinions, and other people were just sort of saying what a great fight it was. And I think that does show the fact that we're not really focused on the judges and how the decision went in such a close fight. I think that shows that it was just such an interesting fight to watch. It was so entertaining. Like, these girls are absolutely incredible. These women, I should say. So, people are saying it's the greatest women's title fight of all time. And I 100% agree. I couldn't think of one that's better. Joanna Jedrzejczyk versus Rose was a great fight, but I don't think it comes close to this as far as the heart and the technique that was shown here. But I think that it's one of the best of all time, and I would include men's and women's fights in that. So one of the best title fights of all time. And with everything that's happening with the coronavirus, I might even have time to make a video about that, because it looks as though a lot of the sports are going to be suspended. I think that the Premier League could be suspended, so I'm not going to review the United game last night against Lask because I didn't see it, and the Khabib-Ferguson fight, which I've been wanting to see for ages, that could get called off. Like, that could 100% get called off. I'm also supposed to be going to the Edwards-Woodley fight. I'm supposed to be going live to the O2 Arena for that, and I think there's a good possibility that will get cancelled as well. So I think with the sport quite possibly drying up over the next couple of months, I think it may be a good chance for me to produce some different content, like maybe do some top 5 lists. So obviously we'll have to see how that shakes out, but I'll obviously have to keep you updated as and when that happens. So this fight then. So I'm going to give a slightly unpopular opinion. Well, I don't really know if it's unpopular. Like I said, like there's not much arguing about the decision because of how good of a fight it was, but I personally believe that Joanna won this fight. And I do think, so I'm going to leave the video link of my prediction of this fight, because I think this fight went down very similarly to how I said it was going to go down, without trying to sort of blow my own trumpet, because the Adesanya Romero did not go how I thought it would go. So I think this fight did go pretty much how I expected. It was probably a bit more of a war, in fact, than what I expected. But I did expect that it was going to be very action-packed. And I said that it was a little bit like Hendricks GSP. And it wasn't in terms of the style of fight that it was, because both of these women are very stand-up orientated. Whereas obviously Hendricks and GSP, it was a bit more of a mix. There was some wrestling, some striking at range, some, a bit of groundwork, a bit of kickboxing, a bit of boxing. It was a little bit of everything, a bit of clinch. Whereas there was a little bit of clinch and a little bit of groundwork, and sort of, I think it was round 2 or 3, Zhang got a takedown on Jedrzejczyk, but I thought that it was pretty much a kickboxing match. And that was how I thought it would go. As in, like, but it's the same as that GSP Hendricks fight, in that the argument that people would have around who won, it depends how you scored damage versus how you score overall activity. Because Joanna was the more active fighter. She didn't land as many headshots as Zhang did. Zhang was headhunting a lot, but Joanna landed more shots to the legs and more to the body, and she landed more total strikes. So she was definitely the busier of the two. There's not really much of a debate about that. And Zhang definitely landed the better shots. You can see by that hematoma that was on Joanna's head by the end of the fight. Zhang landed the harder shots. She does have more power. That's not to say that Joanna didn't land good shots. She definitely did. There were some times where she had Zhang wobbled, I thought. So here's how I scored it. The first round was interesting, and I think this is a bit of a point of contention. And the judges' scorecards, I've got to admit, I've seen the sort of scorecards online. I can't remember what they were. I think somebody gave the person who had Jedrzejczyk winning gave Jedrzejczyk 3, 4, and 5, and then the person who had Zhang winning had her winning. I think it was like 1, 4, and 5, and then someone else had her like 1, 2, and 4. So it was a bit of a mixed bag from the judges. It was a bit weird that they all had such different opinions on who won each round. So I'm going to go through it round by round and just try and logically break it down. So, I mean, the first round, again, I've seen the fight, I think, twice, and I've come to the conclusion that I think Joanna won this round. And I think that there was a bit of a shock factor, and I think that the commentary was, I don't want to say biased, because I really like Joe Rogan and I really like Cormier. I think they're excellent at what they do. But I think that the commentary was almost in shock of the shots that Zhang was landing, and I think she did land some good power shots. However, with regards to Jedrzejczyk, I thought Jedrzejczyk did the better work in that round. She marked up Zhang's leg. I thought she landed some good straight shots. I thought she landed more strikes overall. So I would give the first round to Joanna. So that was 1 up for me. And then the second round, I think Zhang definitely won that. I don't think that can be contended with. I think Zhang definitely won that round. She had Joanna hurt at one point. I think there was a little bit of a wrestling scramble as well, where she looked like she was going to submit Joanna. Joanna did get out of it. But I think in close rounds, I think someone who's being offensive with grappling, I think that does make a difference. So I think Zhang won that round. So I had it 1 each going into the third. And then this is where I thought the third was the most dominant round for Joanna. I thought it looked like Joanna rocked Zhang in this round. There was a moment where she sort of threw, I think it was a left hook, and Zhang was staggered. Zhang was sort of staggering all over the place. And on top of that, Joanna just landed so much volume, landed great leg kicks, good straight shots, like I said she was going to do. So I think the third round, it looked like Joanna was going to take over the fight. So I had it 2-1 going into the fourth. Fourth round was very interesting because I think what it was, I had this round for Joanna because I thought it was more of the same. I thought Joanna did better work, although it was closer than the third. I think Zhang had got more in the fight. I thought Zhang landed heavy shots in the fourth. And obviously she made that hematoma, and I feel like that influenced the decision. Anyone who gave Zhang that round, I feel like that's influencing your decision, because I felt like Joanna just landed more and was more effective overall in that round. And I think in an MMA fight, you've got to look at who's imposing their game plan, because there's so many different styles. So it's like you kind of got to look at it. You've got to look at it on round by round basis, first of all. This is why I'm breaking it down in this way. But you've also got to look at it on a stylistic basis. Who's doing what they want? Who's actually making the fight the way that they want to make it? And I thought that Joanna was making the fight the kind of fight that she wanted it to be in that fourth round. So I thought that she won that fight on volume, because she was making it the sort of fight where Zhang was having to backpedal. Yeah, she was landing some good counters, but it was not the kind of fight that Zhang wanted to be fighting. She landed a big, I believe it was an elbow that caused that hematoma. And I think that because of that hematoma, I feel like that massively swayed people's opinions on that round. And I understand why. It was a big visual. And then the fifth round, I don't think there can be much argument about that. I thought Zhang won that round quite clearly. I thought that she had Joanna on the back foot, which was not a common theme in the fight. Joanna was pressing forward quite a lot, and Zhang had her on the back foot in that fifth round, and was landing again some good headshots, some good leg kicks, and I think Joanna was a little bit discombobulated by that massive hematoma, understandably. So I had Joanna winning rounds 1, 3, and 4, and Zhang winning 2 and 5. Now, Zhang's rounds were slightly more dominant in terms of an average. Like, I think Joanna won round 1 relatively clearly. I thought Joanna's most dominant round was round 3, and then round 4 was where there's a bit of a point of contention there. But I think round 2 and 5, there can't be much of a debate that Zhang won those rounds. I don't personally believe. So this is just my opinion. Again, it's just based on what I saw and what I think in terms of fighting in general. I think if we're going to score it on a round-by-round basis, then we have to score it round by round. We can't just say that, oh, Joanna's face looked more messed up, so therefore Zhang won the fight. I don't think you can do that in a 5-round fight. I think it has to be round by round. If we're going by the 10-point must system, this is how we're supposed to score fights. So I think by that system, which is the rules that we are under, I feel like Joanna won that fight. And people say all this shit about ripping it away from the champion, but that's unnecessary. A fight is a fight. Either Joanna won it or Zhang won it. Anyway, this is not to take away from Zhang in any way whatsoever. I think she's a fantastic fighter, and I would love to see a rematch of this. I really would, because I think it was one of those ones where, yeah, I believe that Joanna won it, but there's enough people that believe that Zhang won it to where it's clearly quite a divisive split. So it's clearly a very, very close fight. But as I say, the rematch should happen. The rematch should definitely happen. There should be a rematch. As I said, it's difficult to see. I'm glad that we are left with the memory of this fight, because I think we don't know what's going to happen with this coronavirus. We really don't know what's going to go on with it. So this might be the last fight that we see for a while, for all we know. Do you know what I mean? It might be the last big fight card that we have a memory of. I mean, the Israel Adesanya versus Romero fight, that I'm trying to sort of erase that from my memory. I feel like that should be a no contest, to be honest. I feel like that should be a complete no contest. So this is the memory that I'm taking away from this UFC 248 card. You know, I'm really happy that that's the memory that I'm walking away with. And I think everyone else should be too. As far as, let's be pleased that this may be, you know, if this is the last fight that we see for a while, let's be pleased that these two warriors gave it their all. Again, this is just my opinion, this video. It's not meant to bash anyone. Please let me know your opinion in the comment section. And as always, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel.